If you can hear me, put one in the chat if you can hear everything I'm saying. Baba can shot. Okay, I know y'all can hear me. All right, so Shalom Israel, the Israelite School of UPK, start out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. Today is Wednesday night biblical law class, where we go into the law, teach you about the laws of God, and why that's so important is because you've been in the Christian church your whole life. You've been because you know black people nowadays, they don't like to say that they Christians. You know what I'm saying? You tell a black person they Christians, and they say, "Nah, I ain't Christians. I'm spiritual." So you've been spiritual your whole life. You've been in religion your whole life, and it has gotten you nowhere. You understand? It hasn't gotten you, but what it has done was destroyed you even further. You understand? So today is the law class. We're gonna get into the law. I'm pretty sure everybody's familiar with the story of Adam and how the Lord breathed the breath into Adam's nostrils and he became. That's in Genesis, the second chapter, or the first chapter. You know what I'm saying? So, what you don't understand, contrary to popular belief, is that God did not come down from heaven and actually breathe inside Adam's nostrils and make him a living soul. You understand? What you got to understand, especially when you coming into this truth, and you gotta understand that the Bible is full of metaphors, man. Because that's how it's a black book. The Bible is the records in the history of black, so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians. So we talk in slang. The Bible was slang. So when you see that the Lord have breathed the breath of life into Adam's nostrils, that's not an actual breath that you're thinking of. Like he didn't actually breathe into his nostrils. What it meant by that was that he gave him the law, statutes, and commandments. When it said that Adam and Eve was naked and the serpent was talking to him, that's not talking about an actual snake. They wasn't actually naked. And these are some of the things you will start to understand once you start coming to class more, and once you start tapping in and tuning into class and into the truth. Like I said, every class, John 8:32 say, "You shall know the truth, and it shall set you free." Right now, you enslaved to a lie. You shackled to the lie of Western society and culture. You know what I'm saying? And the whole ISUBK is to break you out of those lies, break you out of those chains. You understand? So you won't continue to live your life in sin anymore. You understand? So with that being said, the first scripture is Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 4, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on, let me see. And make sure you like and share the class. You know what I'm saying? Smash that like button. Subscribe to ISUBK Sacramento, Sacramento Israelites, ISUBK NorCal. It's very important that you do that, man. So we continue to push this truth out here. It's very important. All right? So, the scripture I'm going to get is, Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 4. That's what we're going to start off today. And also, make sure you put your name, city, and state for attendance, Baba Kashab. Neil Perez, hey, Shalom Yahashua about Shimi Ashai, sis. Hey, Shalom of Christ, Shabal, what's going on? Shalom of Christ. So Deuteronomy chapter 4. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 4. But ye that did cleave unto the Lord your God are alive, every one of you this day. You understand? Now, ISUBK, we cleaved into our God. We didn't cleave into the Christian God. You understand? The white Jesus. We didn't cleave into the God of Islam. You understand? Worshiping a rock. We didn't cleave into the Kemet. You understand? What they had about 100 different gods, just like Islam. We didn't cleave into those gods. We were smart and wise enough to listen to Commander General Yohana and the generals and the captains and the officers that spread out all throughout this earth. We was smart enough to listen to these brothers and understand that what they were saying was the truth. And we was able to come in here and actually be able to serve our God. Let me read it again. But ye that did cleave unto the Lord your God are alive, every one of you this day. It is some brothers and sisters out there that did not cleave into the Lord our God. You understand? They didn't cleave into the Lord. Like when you go join a religion, you're not cleaving into, you spiritually dead. When they say that you're, well, I'm read it again. But ye that did cleave unto the Lord your God are alive, every one of you this day. When it say that you are alive, every one of you this day, it's not talking about a physical death. This is you. This is spiritually talking about you being dead in religion. You know what I'm saying? You being dead going to the cat. I just seen on the news, right? And shout out to Kazaki. I just seen on their channel that it was some Gadites, it was some First Nation brothers that in Canada that went linked up with the Pope, and you know what I'm saying? They was shaking hands with them. The Pope put on their headpiece with the feathers and all that. You know what I'm saying? And they was acting all buddy buddy. That you are not supposed to do that. You understand? You are supposed to do that because those brothers, even though they claim to be First Nation brothers, they ain't nothing but some Christians. You know why? Because they forgave they enemies for what they did. You understand? So like it. 1 second. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I'm gonna keep reading. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. The Lord said He taught us laws, statutes, and commandments and judgments. That's what the God of this Bible teaches. He teaches you laws, statutes, and judgments. Guess what He didn't teach us? He didn't teach you religion. You learned that from your oppressor. He didn't. The Bible didn't teach you how to be Christian. The Bible didn't teach you how to be a part of Islam. The Bible didn't teach you how to be spiritual, like black people say. The Bible didn't teach you that you was Egyptian. You understand? The Bible taught us laws, statutes, and commandments. He taught us how to not assimilate into everybody's culture, being multicultural. That's what the Bible teaches. The Bible teaches that you cannot eat whatever you want to eat. That's what the Bible teaches. The Bible teaches that you can't get up one day and serve the Lord on your terms. That's what the Bible teaches. I'm gonna read it again. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that He should go do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. The Lord didn't teach us religion. He taught us how to have statutes, commandments, and judgments. That's what He taught us. And He said you're supposed to keep these laws, statutes, and judgments in any land that you go to. In the land that you go to possess, you're supposed to do that. That's why the black community is destroyed right now, because we don't know this. You understand? We don't know that the God taught us how to live our lives. He taught us how to conduct ourselves, how to behave, how to love one another. You understand? We don't know that because we went to Christian church and we went to the Christian church and we listened to those Christian pastors and we listened to that soothing music, and we got gamed up by some soothsayers. We got gamed up by enchanters, by witches. That's what happened to us. That's why we don't understand this Bible. We went to church and we was taught a song and a dance, and how to clap and how to sweep everything that's horrible going on in our community. We was taught to sweep it under the rug. That's why everybody know that the pastor is like, for instance, it was a pastor in Brooklyn recently. He got robbed. He going live on TikTok. He going live on all these different social media platforms, showing all his jewelry. He bouncing out of Rolls Royce trucks that cost thousands of dollars. He bouncing out of Lamborghini trucks that cost thousands of dollars. There's some brothers, they brothers waking up in the world. Brothers and sisters, they waking up. They not gonna continue to fall for this folly and this garbage that you teaching them. So some brothers, which we don't support in ISBK, you ain't supposed to rob and steal from nobody. But the Christian pastor, he's robbing and stealing from everybody in the community. He's been robbing grandma for the last 40, 50 years, and nobody's saying anything about it. But when that brother step on your shoe at the club, you won't shoot him. You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense. But this Christian pastor in Brooklyn, he been robbing brothers. I don't know how long he's been a pastor, but as long as he's been a pastor, he's been teaching prosperity teachings and robbing everybody from their goddamn money. So it was some brothers that was wise enough to understand that he's lying. This is not a man of God. I should not respect him. They ran in that church during it while they were having service, and they robbed the Christian pastor and his wife for all the million. Look at, and all they did was take money and take the gold off him. And guess what? He put in the newspaper. They put in the newspaper. He talked to the news. He said they robbed me and my wife for over $1 million worth of jewelry. But meanwhile, you in Brooklyn where they killing each other left and right. Drill music in Brooklyn and New York, it's horrible. They telling you everything that's good. You listen to drill music in New York, they telling you everything that's going on in the black community, man. And guess what? It's horrible. Meanwhile, you riding around with Rolls Royces and Lamborghini trucks with $1 million of jewelry on. How did you get this money? You got this money from ties. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Commander Junior Hunter would never be walking around with $1 million of jewelry on, knowing that Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians are out there homeless, knowing that it's our people out there with no food, with no shelter, no housing, staying in motels, staying on the streets in tents. The Commander Junior Hunter would never walk around with $1 million in jewelry like that. But this Christian pastor, he took all that money from tithes, and guess what? He went and bought fast cars, luxury cars for him and his wife. He went and bought millions of dollars in jewelry. And then guess what? He robbed the people like the Bible says you shouldn't rob. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't murder. Because guess what? If you murder somebody, the Lord gonna put a spirit on somebody to murder you. And it's the same thing with robbery. You out here stealing and robbing people. The Lord gonna put a spirit on somebody to steal and rob from you. That's just how it goes. So that's what happened to that Christian pastor. He been robbing the community for 2 decades, a decade. And finally somebody robbed him. You understand? But then guess what? He said he won't press charges, and he got a $15,000 reward out for those brothers who robbed him. But meanwhile, he's robbing everybody and spending their money on whatever he want to spend it on. That's a goddamn shame. You understand? And that's exactly, you need to get out of religion. You need to get out of a goddamn fool if you do that. All right? So we go ahead again. I think it said they have trouble. Let's see if we're still live. Okay, yeah, we still live. All right. So that's verse 5. Let's get some more. This verse 6, Salakia. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sights of the nations. You know what makes you wise? What makes Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians wise is serving our God. You understand? That's what makes us wise in the sights of the other nations. Like the other nations supposed to look at Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, and they're supposed to see that we don't have anybody gangbanging making drill music. We don't have sisters like Sukiyana twerking on Instagram. We ain't got nobody that are OnlyFans. We ain't got nobody that's selling fentanyl and selling Percocet 30s, killing them. We ain't got that in our communities. And they're supposed to see that. Damn, why are they flourishing? Why is the Black community flourishing? Because they got laws against those things. They're supposed to look at us and see that we keeping God's laws and say, you know what, this is a wise people. It's wise for you not to accept homosexuals in your community. It's wise for you to do that, because then you won't die from monkeypox. Then you won't die from AIDS. Then you won't die from what they got, super gonorrhea out now. You understand? Then you won't die from those things. It's wise for you not to do that. But they don't look at us as a wise people. You know why? Because we don't keep these laws. I'm gonna read it again. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sights of the nations. We not looked at as wise and as a wise and understanding people, because we don't keep the laws of God. People supposed to look at us and see that we don't sell drugs, and they're supposed to say, you know what, that's a wise people. And they don't vote for a president that's not their people. That's a wise people. They wise. They don't want to be multicultural and be a part of everybody's society. That's a wise people. You understand? Because you know when you decide to be multicultural and want to be a part of everybody's society, guess what? Somebody got to be at the bottom and somebody got to be at the top. That's just how it goes. And that's why the Lord in Deuteronomy 7:6 said, "You are a holy people unto the Lord thy God." What we do, what we do is supposed to separate us from everybody else. How we conduct ourselves is supposed to separate us from the rest of the world. But we took on religion trying to find God. We took on Western culture trying to find God, and we wonder why we destroyed. Like nowadays, you can't even and like especially the parents are so destroyed, and the grandparents in the black community is so destroyed. Like it used to be like decision making used to be on our shoulders. You understand? Now no in the black community, nobody cares about decision making. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you do, you want to gas out. So like, I won't be okay. Yeah. So whatever you do in the black community, it used to. This how it used to be. It used to be if you bust out somebody's window in the black community, you got everybody that's gonna whoop your behind before you get back to that house, or at least they're gonna tell your parents. Nowadays, nobody want to say nothing. You shoot somebody up the street, you bust somebody's window out, you rob the old lady house, you snatch her purse. She's 60 years old. You snatch her purse and run. The whole neighborhood know you do it, but guess what? Everybody gonna say that's not my business. That's their business. When the black community used to be like that. Black men used to be responsible for whatever happens in the black community. But now, guess who's responsible? The women are responsible now. Your Christian pastors are responsible now. People who don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? You got Steve Harvey with all them goddamn teeth. He's responsible now. You understand? You got entertainers who are responsible for what happened in the black, Hispanic, Native American community. And what I mean by being responsible, whatever they say is how it is. You understand? You rap about selling Percocets and being off Percocets 30s and popping mollies. Now everybody else is going to do it. You rap about being F nigga free, all on top of the goddamn car with your tongue out twerking, looking like a hot mess, looking like you musty as hell. Now everybody's daughter and woman want to do that. It's a goddamn shame. But you know why? Because what did the Lord say? Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments. The Lord taught us statutes and judgments. He didn't teach us religion. We learned how to get on top of a car and twerk with your tongue out. You learned that All right, let's try this again. Something happened. Um, we back on. Let me see. I believe we back on. Right. Yeah, we back on. All right. So yeah, where did I leave off at? All right. So the Lord taught us laws, statutes, and commandments. The Lord didn't teach us religion. Like, like your sisters and aunties and cousins, they learn how to get on top of a goddamn car and twerk with their tongue out, looking musty as hell. They learned that from religion. You learn how to stand on the block and wait for some ops to drive past so you can shoot at them and run from the police and throw your gun because it ain't registered. You learn all that garbage from religion. You know what I'm saying? You know how I know? I'm going to read it again. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments. The Lord taught us statutes and judgments. The Lord told us how to behave. The Lord taught us how to conduct ourselves. It's because but we went to the Christian church and we learned a song and a dance. We learned how to be multicultural. We learned how to be a part of Western culture. That's what we learned. That's why what we do in ISUBK is so important. To teaching these classes is so important. Liking and sharing the class is so important. Putting your name, city, and state is so important because we want to wake up as much brothers and sisters as we could before Christ's return, so they won't have to face the judgment for living how they live. You understand? So they won't have to face that judgment. Because guess what? You could make a decision that you don't want to take the flyer and you want to continue to live in sin, even knowing it's wrong. You can decide that you want to do that, and you can live a whole lifetime of celebrating birthdays and eating shrimp, crab, lobster, and pork. But guess what's gonna happen? Like I just seen, for instance, right? I just seen this Instagram model. She tied to Chris Brown. She tied to Nick Cannon. And she tied to a lot of A-list celebrities, right? She an Instagram model. It just came out that she has AIDS and she dying. I went on her TikTok. She's 65 pounds. She 5'2" and she's 65 pounds, dying from AIDS because she for the last 10 years, the last decade, she didn't even know she had AIDS. But guess what that comes from? Sorry to say, that comes from you living a whole life of celebrating holidays, going to grandma's house for Thanksgiving cooking, sleeping with whoever the hell you want to sleep with, having a hot girl summer, not wearing condoms. It comes from having a lifetime of abortions. You done have 4, 5 abortions back to back. Now you dying from AIDS and you 65 pounds. That's what happens when you live a lifetime of sin. That's what happens. You can't escape judgment from the Lord. And this is what the Lord taught us. And if we knew that, we wouldn't live our lives like how we live it. We wouldn't live our lives. There would be no slogan that you only live once, YOLO. You only live once, man. I'm going to do what I want to do, man. I'm going to live how. You wouldn't live like that if you knew that the Lord would judge you for it. Nah, but you know what you taught? Being multicultural, you taught that only God can judge me. You goddamn right. God gonna judge you. You hear me? God is he is going to judge me. Good, going to judge you. You know what I'm saying? But that's what we learned being in the Christian church. Only God can judge me. I can do what I want to do. You don't get a pass for being a sinner. You don't just wake up and go to church and you know what I'm saying, get baptized one day and think that you can serve the Lord on terms. It don't work like that. You hear me? Keep reading. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and understanding in the sights of the nations. Us keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, this is supposed to be our wisdom in the sights of all the other nations. This is what makes us wise. This is what makes us have understanding. Not a college degree, not going to school your goddamn life, your whole goddamn life. You understand? Not being in politics, trying to be a Democrat Republic. That's not what makes you wise and understanding. Because as you can see, they got Rhode Island. What is it called? What's her name? Not the district attorney. I forgot her goddamn name. But she the one. She's the one that signed all the laws. She was on TikTok twerking upside down with her chops out. But school her whole life. She been in college her whole life. She got degrees on top of degrees and master's, associates. She got all this glamorous stuff. But guess what? That's not what makes you wise as a person. That's not what makes you understanding. What makes you wise and have understanding as a black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian is keeping God's laws. It's wise for you not to be a homosexual. It's wise for you not to pimp on your daughters and pimp on your aunties and cousins. That's wise. It's wise for you not to sell drugs. It's wise for you not to kill somebody that looks just like you. Why? Because he's a part of your army. You got an army. That's wise for you not to kill a brother that's the same nation as you. It's wise for you not to abort your baby and murder it in the goddamn womb because you killing members of your family. It's wise wisdom in that. But you don't learn that. You don't learn that in the world. You understand? I'm gonna keep reading. And say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. But if we kept those laws, statutes, and commandments and those judgments, the nation would be like, you know what? This is a wise and understanding people. This is a wise people. They didn't. I know we told them that God loves everybody. You can come as you are. You understand? Love is love. We told them all that, but guess what? They live by a total different standard. They wise. They not like everybody else. They not like all other people. That's what made Daniel, nigga, and all those brothers that was in Babylon captivity, up under Nebuchadnezzar. You know what made them wise? Not doing what the heathens did. You understand? Not doing what they did. And matter of fact, I got a scripture on that. Let me just pull something right quick. We're gonna jump back to that. We're gonna go to Matthew. I think Matthew 7 and 9. I think it's Matthew. Bear with me right quick. Okay, Matthews 10 and 16. That's where it's at. We're gonna jump right back to Deuteronomy. Matthews 10 and 16. Because you can be in America, but that don't mean you gotta act American. You can be in this country and be a part of it and go to the job, go work your slave and take your kids to school. You can still live, but that don't mean you have to be like them. That don't mean you have to behave like them. All right? This is Matthew chapter 10, verse 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. You move like them, but don't act how they act. That's what they're saying. He's going to read it again. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents. Man, look, we in the midst of when you black, Hispanic, Native American, we in the midst of wolves. All these different nations, they wolves to black people. And guess who the sheep? We the sheep. You understand? But you gotta move like them, but don't act how they act. Yeah. We live in this society. We a part of this culture. But guess what? You don't have to celebrate holidays. You don't have to go to your mom's house for Thanksgiving. You don't have to abort your baby. You don't have to gangbang. You don't have to run your goddamn mouth. You understand? Especially if you're a woman. Don't be a woman that you always running your mouth. Nobody want to hear what the hell you got to say and what's on your goddamn mind all the time. Shut the hell up. You understand? But you know where you learned that from? You learned that from being a Christian. You learned that from this society. You understand? It said, be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. We black, Hispanic, Native American, men in the IHBK and women. We wise. We wise enough not to be a part of this society. You understand? We realize we wise enough to follow Christ. You understand? All right, so but yeah, I had to just grab that right quick because the Lord said He told us laws, statutes, and judgments, and other nations are supposed to look at us and say that this is a wise and understanding people because of it. But they don't, because we took on their culture. You understand? All right, so verse 7. For what nation is there so great who have God so nigh unto them? They supposed to be looking at us and saying, what nation is so great and so wonderful that God has to be near unto them? The God they serve must be real. Look at their society. Look at their communities. That's how they're supposed to look at black people. As the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for. And what nation is there so great that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law, which I set before you this day? Meaning that other nations, they don't have these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's why you can go to China and they just started the whole coronavirus epidemic. You got the regular COVID-19, you got the Omicron virus, Omicron. You know what I'm saying? You got like 3 different COVID-19s, all because they don't have a dietary law on what animals you can eat and you can't eat, on what animals is clean and unclean. They don't have those laws. That's just what they're saying. And what nation is there so great that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law, which I set before you this day? The laws that Moses set before us, the other nations, the heathens, don't have these laws. That's why the oppressor, the Greeks, the Romans, the oppressor, the society that we live in right now, that's why 2 men can go down to Washington, D.C., get a law passed, get a certificate that 2 men can marry each other and then go adopt children. That's ridiculous. A woman, what's her name? A Griner that's locked up in Russia right now. She cut her goddamn breast off, and she's been married to a woman for 4 years. That's ridiculous. Went to Russia, got caught with some goddamn weed. You could have bought some weed in Russia. What the hell you bring weed to Russia for? But we not wise. We not wise. We don't have no understanding no more. You understand? And it said, which I said before you this day. The other nations don't have these laws. But we got laws. A woman can't cut her goddamn breast off and become a man. Just because she's 6, 7 feet tall and wears size 14 shoe. You're a woman still. I know it's unfortunate, but you still a goddamn woman. A man can't cut his rod off and decide that, well, you know what? I'm a woman today. My name ain't Jeff no more. It's Jennifer. You can't do that. That is a horrible thing. And other nations are supposed to look and see that we don't have that type of garbage in our communities, and they're supposed to say, you know what? That is a wise and understanding people. Damn, why didn't we think of that? That's smart. You understand? If everybody had these laws, guess what? There would be no such thing as monkeypox. Especially in the black community. If Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians kept God's laws, there won't be no such thing as AIDS in the black community. That'll just be something that's going on with other people. You know what I'm saying? There won't be no such thing as monkeypox in the black community. That'll be something that's just going on with other people. There won't be no such thing as coronavirus. That'll be stuff that's going on with the other people. You know why black people are #1 for coronavirus? Because we eat whatever the hell we want to eat too, just like the Chinese. You understand? That's why we smoke whatever. Because you know COVID-19, the coronavirus, is a lung disease. You understand? We smoke whatever the hell we want to smoke. Vape pens, wax pens, what else? Weed, cookies, gelato. That's what we do. And it's ridiculous. Everything that we do in the Black, Hispanic, Native American Indian community, we got from other cultures. We got from other cultures. You know why your woman walk around half naked with her damn line of her breast showing all the goddamn time, trying to be in everybody's goddamn face, putting lipstick on everybody's collar? We learned that from Africa. Africans walk around half naked. You know, we learned how to twerk. Our women half naked twerk. We learned that from trying to be African. We learned eating whatever the hell we want to eat. We got that from Chinese people. We learned eating, doing whatever the hell we want to do. We got that from the oppressor. We learned everything we learned from all the people that hate God. When God taught us how to be separate from everybody else by giving us law, statutes, and commandments. We keep reading. Only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen. Man, you gotta be diligent. What did it just say? Let's read it again. Take heed to thyself. You gotta examine yourself. Are you acting like a heathen? Are you keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments? And you gotta examine yourself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thy forget the things which thou hast seen. You gotta keep your soul diligent. You gotta keep your soul focused on serving the Lord. Because if you don't keep your soul focused, you don't keep Your mind focused on serving the Lord, guess what? Your mind gonna veer off, and things that's remedial, things that's not important is gonna be important to you. You understand? Things that's retarded is gonna be important to you. You got to keep your soul and your mind diligent, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen. Because if you don't keep your soul and your mind diligent, and you don't stay focused, you gonna forget. If you don't wake up every day and you pushing on your kids, you pushing on your ribs, you pushing on yourself. Oh man, that food look hella good right there. And I got pork in it, and I can't eat that. If you don't wake up and do that, you don't wake up and be like, damn, I know she's bad as hell. She give me all the attention in the world, but I know she's a whore. I am not gonna sleep with her. I ain't gonna make that my rib. Hell no, I can tell. I'm good. If you don't get up and think like that and focus on keeping the laws of God, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna fall short. Like the Christians say, you gonna sin against God. You understand? You are going to sin against God. And guess what? The Lord is gonna punish you for it. It said, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen. If you don't stay focused, you're gonna forget what God said to do. You're gonna forget these laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? You're gonna forget that smoking weed is bad. You're gonna pick up a blunt. You're gonna forget that voting is bad. You're gonna start voting again. That's what happened to everybody that left the school. Motherfuckers, people arguing with the generals and all that. You know what I'm saying? Then they leave the school, leave their husbands, leave the school. You know what I'm saying? The brothers leave the school, argue with brothers in the school, they leave. And then guess what? They go back to doing whatever it was they was doing in the world times 10. That's what ends up happening. I done found a few people page that left the school. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, God damn, this sister is a lesbian now? What the hell? Damn, she like damn near butt naked. What the hell is going on? How did you go from wanting to serve God to that? You know why? Because they forgot. You know what I'm saying? They forgot the very thing that kept them alive. They forgot the very thing that gave them hope, that gave them refuge, that saved them and their family. They forgot that. But you Black, Hispanic, Native American Indian man in the school, the truth, man, don't never forget. You understand? Like the scriptures say, rehearse the righteous acts. It's righteous for you not to accept someone that's a homosexual or a lesbian. You understand? Or indict. It's wise for you not to push that on your kids. And you know what's so crazy? Like family members are so wild, right? Like they hate. Like when you come into the school, people, your family members actually start to hate you. It ain't for everybody, but you got family members that literally will hate you. They hate you. You start telling about, like for instance, like you tell them about multiple wives. Yeah, man, I got multiple wives. Oh, I'm trying to get another rib, and they will hate you for it. Oh, I don't eat pork no more. I don't eat shrimp, crab, lobster no more. You know what I'm saying? Now I don't go to church. I'm good. I'm cool on that. And they will hate your guts for it. But guess what? They will accept you as. They would. If you came out and said you was homosexual, they'd accept you. They would say he's strong. They'd clap it up. He's strong. He got strength. He came out and said, you know what I'm saying? That's what they'll do. They will applaud you after you said that they don't eat shrimp, crab, lobster no more. You know, grandma hand you some goddamn some chicken Alfredo with shrimp in it, and you just say, you know what? I'm about to eat this shit. It looks too good. They will applaud you on that. But when you serving God, they never applaud you on that. They don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not strong enough to do that. They're not strong enough to do what you do. It takes a certain type of man and a woman to be here and do what we do. Everybody can't do this. You hear me? All right. And it said, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from all the days of thy life. If you don't stay diligent and stay focused, what was important, it will depart from you. It ain't gonna be your focus no more. Something that's easily, you could easily get distracted being in the truth, man. If you don't take this serious, you will easily be distracted, and you will go back to being a sinner. You will go back to eating pork, buying prostitutes, smoking weed and cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? You will go back to doing those things. You will go back to being a whore and have 4 or 5 baby daddies, all of them on child support. Now you hate men. You will go back to having that type of life if you don't stay focused. You know what I'm saying? That's very important. And lest thy depart from thy heart all the days of thy life. What is thy heart? Your heart is your mind. Don't let what the Lord taught us depart from your mind. And that's why you need to stay out the Christian church. You understand? Because their whole agenda and their whole focus is trying to make you forget. It gets you to forget everything the Lord said. That's why when you go in there, they don't teach you nothing in the Bible. They teach you God loves everybody. Let's come together. We all believe red. And then the rest of the sermon is just songs and dances and the swing. That's all it is. But teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons. And you're supposed to pass this down generation to generation. I can't wait for my sons to grow up, man. And I got another generation up in this thing. Just like General Muhammad. He raised Arya as his son, Captain Arya as his son. Shout out to them. He raised them. He raised a child up like he should go, and now Captain Arya is a captain in the school. And when he have children, he gonna raise his children up to be in the school and keep the laws of God. And then when they pass away, guess what? They're gonna come back to a society that they sacrifice live in, that they can be a part of again. That they don't have to worry about. They woke up and like that's the thing. Like when you a sinner and you sell dope and you do all these different things, when you die, when you get shot in a goddamn drug deal going bad, or you overdose off fentanyl, you're gonna wake up a goddamn baby. Decades later, you're gonna wake up a baby, and the condition that you're gonna be in is gonna be horrible. You're gonna wake up a baby to a family that's on drugs in rat-infested houses, roaches everywhere. You know what I'm saying? The whole neighborhood is destroyed. That's what you're going to wake up to if you don't keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. And that's why the Bible said what? But teach them to thy sons and thy sons' sons. You're supposed to teach these laws, statutes, and commandments to your sons and your grandchildren. So that when they get older and they get children, they can teach them to their sons. So when you die and you come back, you are part of a society that's royal and that's righteous. You understand? Like General Muhammad and Arya. Arya was able to come into the truth because General Muhammad sacrificed and decided that he wasn't going to be a sinner anymore. So now Captain Arya is going to raise his children to be in the school. And Lord allow when the general do pass, that he come back and be a part of that family, and then it's not a family on drugs. It's not a family. You're not born into a family where you had to get adopted by two white homosexuals. You understand? That's abusing you. That's what happens because you can't escape judgment. You understand? Yeah, but yeah, I had to pull that because it's important, and you're not learning this nowhere else. So we're gonna drop that, and we're gonna get Let's see what we're gonna get now. Let's get wisdom. Let's get Wisdom of Solomon 7:24. And this is and what I'm talking about right now. This is what the Lord gave Adam. When it say He breathed the breath of life into Adam, this is what it's talking about. He gave Adam laws, statutes, and commandments, and he became a living soul. That's what it said, right? Matter of fact, I'm gonna scratch that. I'm gonna give Baruch chapter 4 verse 1. I'm gonna give Baruch chapter 4 verse 1. All right, Baruch chapter 4 verse 1. This is the book of commandments. This is the book of the commandments of God. This Bible right here. This is the book of the commandments of God. This is not a novel. This is not a book that you just pick up and read. You know what I'm saying? And decide that you want to serve the Lord and serve God on your terms. That's not what this book is. This book is not for everybody and all people. This book is what I'm gonna read again. This is the book of the commandments of God. This book right here that we read, this Bible, this is the book of the commandments of God. That's what it is. It's not a novel. It's not a verse book that you just, it's a good guy and a bad guy. That's not what this is about. This book is filled of commandments. What is a commandment? A commandment is an order. The Lord ordered Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians to love each other, not sell drugs, not abuse each other, not take advantage of each other, not rob from each other, steal from each other, not allow our children to fall into whoredom. our women to fall into whoredom. That's what this book is about. You understand? This book is about everything that the Christian church is against, because they teach you that the laws are done away with. So you know what, in essence, you know what they telling you? You should allow your child to be molested. That's what they're saying, and that's why, and it's not a coincidence. That's why it's thousands of Christian pastors that's raping everybody in the goddamn church. What was Eddie Long doing? Eddie Long was getting young black boys in the church, and he was taking them on trips all across the world, giving them money and molesting them. And that's what the Christian pastors doing all. You understand? It said, "This is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endure forever." And guess what? This law that we talking about keeping, it endure forever. But what do you learn in church? You learn that the laws are done away with. That's what you learn. You learn, come as you are. I want to see that scripture. The Bible ain't never said come as you are. You know why? Because Christ died for you to repent. Christ died in hopes that you would repent and stop doing whatever it is that's causing the Lord to be against you. So why the hell are they telling you that the laws are done away with? What did it say? I'm going to read it again. And the law that endureth forever. This law endureth forever. Not for a time, not for a season. It said forever. And this is what you're supposed to teach your sons throughout their generations. Keep reading. All they that keep it shall come to life. You see that? But peep game though. It said, all that keep it shall come to life. How can you already alive? You see what I'm saying? It say, all they that keep it shall come to life. You already alive. You already alive. So what do it mean by all they that keep it shall come to life? Because you're already alive. That's how you even able to keep it from the gate. That's how you even able to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments from the gate, because you're already alive. But so why is it saying that all they that keep it shall come to life? Because this come to life is not actually talking about you waking up from the dead and coming. This is talking about, this is spiritually come to life. That's why what do we say right now in the world? You know what I'm saying? We say that you sleep, you woke, you ain't woke. You know what I'm saying? I'm not actually saying that. Like I said, the Bible is slang. This whole Bible is slang. Somebody say, man, you sleep. It can be you sleep, or it can be that you're not woke. You're not paying attention. You lacking. And that's what this is talking about. I'm going to read it again. All they that keep it shall come to life. Everybody that keep the law, statutes, and commandments of God, they shall come to life. And this is so when you read about Adam coming to life, that's what it was talking about. It was talking about him keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, the Lord giving him law, statutes, and commandments. That's what made him a living soul. Not because he can breathe and walk and talk and physically move around. That ain't nothing. You know what I mean? Anybody can, like right now, Black, Hispanic, we alive right now. But guess what? We good as dead. You know why? Because we don't know the truth. We good as dead because we don't know that we don't know who God is. We don't know how to follow Christ and serve him. We don't know these things. So you might as well be dead. Just like that. Like, for instance, these laws, or I'm gonna say it like this, these laws is what separate us from everybody else. These laws is what separate us from animals. Like, what separate a man from a dog? We do the same thing a dog. We eat, sleep, use the bathroom, lay down, wake up, do it all over again. But you know what separates us from animals? Having laws on what to do and what not to do. A dog will lick his own behind. You know what I'm saying? A dog can eat anything. You give a dog pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, he gonna eat it. But what separates us from them is having these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's what separates us. It's telling us you can't be like a pig and do whatever the hell you want to do. Because if you can do what you want to do, you a goddamn animal. That's what animals do. Animals do whatever the hell they want. But what separates us from the animals is that the Lord gave us commandments. He ordered us to do certain things in order to stay away from certain things, not behave a certain way. That's what separates us from everybody else. And that's what gives you the breath of life. You understand? That separation, you keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, That's what gives you the breath of life and makes you a living soul. Not actually being alive and being able to breathe. That's too easy. You understand? I'm going to read it again. It said, all they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. But such as leave it shall die. And that's what happened when Adam left the truth. Adam and Eve left the truth. They decided that they wanted to be multicultural. They wanted to follow after everybody else. And guess what? They left the truth and they died. Not physically, but spiritually they died. You understand? And that's what happens with everybody at least. You will spiritually die. And next thing you know, you'll be somewhere blowing a goddamn ride behind a garbage can because you're trying to buy some fentanyl and some foil to smoke it on. Something wild like that. Yeah. You understand? So scratch that. Now we're going to get let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and 24. And let's prove what I'm saying. Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 24. All right. Solomon chapter 7, verse 24. For wisdom is more moving than any motion, passive and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. 25. For she is the breath of the power of God. You see that? Wisdom is the breath and the power of God. Not you actually being able to breathe. There's no power in you breathing. You understand? Besides the Lord blessing you and waking you up and allowing you to still be here, but there's no power in breathing. Dogs breathe, animals breathe, everything breathes. But for she is the breath of power of God in a pure influence flowing from glory of the Almighty. Therefore, can no defiled thing fall into her. So this breath that it's talking about is the law, statutes, and commandments, and that's the wisdom that flows like pure. It's like what it say. That's the wisdom. It said that goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. That's the pureness that it's talking about. You not being on drugs, selling drugs. You understand? You not being a homosexual. You not celebrating these holidays. That's what it's talking about. That's the breath of life. If you're not doing that, you dead. You might as well be good dead. All right. So now we're gonna drop that, and we're gonna get another scripture. We're gonna go to Job 27 and 3. And these scriptures to prove that the breath of life, when the Lord breathed into Adam's nostrils, that it wasn't talking about actually breathing into his nostrils. It was talking about the laws. Okay, Job 27 and 3. Okay, no matter of fact, we're going to start at verse 3. Job chapter 27, verse 3. All the while my breath is in me, and the Spirit of God is in my nostrils. You see that? It said my breath is in me, but the Spirit of God is in my nostrils. Yeah, I'm breathing, I'm alive, but the Spirit of God is keeping me alive. And what is the Spirit of God? To do what the Lord said to do. To follow the law, statutes, and commandments. It's always going to go back to that. Your pastor, your grandma, your aunties, your family members outside of the truth, they don't have what did it say? The Spirit of God in my nostrils. They don't have the Spirit of God in their nostrils. What's driving them and keeping them alive is sin. That's what is driving them and keeping them alive. What's driving and keeping you alive in the truth is knowing that if you stop keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, you will die. Not just spiritually, but physically. The Lord will destroy you. That's what separates you from everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So when you read, I'm gonna read it again. And all the while my breath is in me, and but it's some of the most important words in the Bible. It said, and, so not only is the breath, he's actually breathing, it said, and the Spirit of God is in my nostrils. The Spirit of God is in his nostrils. You know what I'm saying? My lips shall not speak wicked, nor my tongue utter deceit. For God forbid that I should justify you till I die. I will not remove mine integrity from you. My righteousness I hold fast, and I will not let it go. My heart shall not reproach me so long as I live. And guess what? You ain't supposed to let this go. You ain't supposed to compromise your integrity. You're supposed to stand firm in this truth. And what did it say? It stay focused. Stay diligent in this truth. You understand? Stay diligent. Because I know for me, me just being in the truth the little short time I've been, the little few years I've been in the school, my life has been a lot easier. Before my life was in shambles. I just knew I was going back to prison, and this time I was doing life. I already did 5 years. I already did a lot of time in juvenile hall.